Welcome to the Marriage Podcast with David and Summer.
We're here to dive into all things marriage, faith, and family. Real talk for real couples.
Thanks for joining us. Let's get into today's episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Marriage Podcast with Dave and Summer. You know, we believe that every marriage can make it and that every marriage has a purpose. And it's always great to be on here with you, babe.
Yes, we are doing something a little different.
We are.
When we speak together and at marriage conferences, you always bring up how you have is still overcoming anger.
Yep.
And so I thought it would be really cool to kind of do like an interview style a little bit of how you are overcoming anger. We were in the wonderful state of Idaho.
Yep.
And there was a panel there, and people usually they'll ask us questions, right? They'll ask us and the speakers questions, the speakers that we're speaking with, but sometimes they'll ask us personal questions. And so my husband, who does a great job in speaking, you always will share your testimony, and you've done it here at church, and but you're not really able to go too in depth. And so I thought it would be really good for us to be able to share just the journey of your overcoming anger and how God has brought you through. But I want to split it up in 2 episodes. You don't know that, but I do want to split it up in 2.
Man.
And so, this episode we'll talk about basically maybe the breaking point and just encouraging people. And then the next episode we'll go into more of the healing process and all those good things.
Okay. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. You're on the hot seat here.
Let's do it.
Okay. So when you first begin noticing that anger was showing up in your life, even if you didn't recognize it as a problem, when was that?
When I saw it showing up in my life?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that I was exhibiting anger. Didn't remember all this, but I exhibited anger at the daycare. My mom and dad were the pastors, and the original church had a daycare.
Yeah.
And we used to live upstairs above the church in an apartment. Mm-hmm. And so I lived there, went to church there, and then went to daycare there.
Wow.
So in daycare, I was acting out. My mom noticed just a little bit of anger tendencies there. And I think I was just, cooped in too.
Yeah.
That was part of it. But I think it was showing up there. But I would say that just as after kindergarten, had tension there in kindergarten, and then first grade, second grade, just in little spats, just getting upset, getting frustrated. And then as I got older, I think it would come out in different ways and could feel it happening more.
So what would you say there were signs, or how did you cope with it? How did you,
that's a good
what does that
question.
look like?
I don't even know
for you to be able to fully understand what was happening.
I don't know if I understand that question. I don't know if I even knew what was going on. I think I just thought of myself as being emotional or having, our family is very emotional. Our family is very loud. Our family is very expressive. Our family is very
passionate.
Passionate,
I like
definitely.
To use.
So I probably didn't have the cognitive recognition or to recognize that I really had like an anger issue. I was just probably just navigating stuff and just rolling with it.
Sure.
Doing my thing.
Okay. So let's talk about the moment that became the turning point for you. In that family argument. I know that, you were upset maybe beforehand. I don't know if and so in some ways you were trying to back away from, being upset, but it tipped you over.
Well, I'll say this. I want to talk about that story that I've shared a lot, but the way I think it's important out of this that I want to illustrate for articulate for people is that I was serving God with all my heart. Like I was living for God, got saved in 96, didn't turn back, just went for it. Not perfect, of course, but just went for God with everything within me. Married you, and had our 2 boys. two oldest boys, and still didn't know that I had an anger problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I look back on it, there was times that I acted out that I just, would say I was like, man, even today, like, man, that was dumb. Or like, what was I thinking? Or what was I doing? But I hadn't really received it or like faced it maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to encourage everyone, listening or watching this, is that we can serve God with all of our heart and not know everything about our heart, and God not touch every part of our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to, just really emphasize that, because it's a journey of God touching us completely, and we need God in us more and more. So the idea of I know it all, heard it all, seen it all, no, you haven't. I've heard about this message 1,000 times. That's fine. We probably need to hear it 1,001 times, because there's parts of us that we know and don't know, just like me. And I was a pastor that was untouched. And so that really stood out to me. When I look back on it, I was like, wow, I didn't even know. Now, before this family fight that you asked about, I would fight with you unfair and raise my voice and be mean with my words. And so I was fighting unfair with you. But even then, didn't know how much that was hurting you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to work on myself. And so leading up to that moment with my dad, we were at my parents' house, and there was a situation at the church at that time that was pressing on me and you, dad and mom, so many different layers of the church at that time.
And
church
we weren't the senior pastor.
I wasn't the senior pastor. Church was about 130, 150 people. It was a stressful time dealing with different aspects. And my dad and I had talked about this situation just, endlessly. And we were watching an IU football game on a Saturday at the house, and he wanted to talk about it, and I was just done. I was mentally and emotionally, I think, fatigued. And so he wanted to talk about it. I didn't. He pressed in a little bit, and finally, man, I just snapped. And my wife, you, our two boys, my mom, and my youngest brother were in the living room. We're all watching the football game. And I just started yelling at my dad, and obviously, saying wrong things, insults to him, and just losing my temper, losing my cool. I could tell, remember your face. You were nervous and afraid. My boys were upset. Josh, my brother, was trying to calm it down. And so really just acted out, made a buffoon of myself for sure. And then, but that was the coming to my end. That was the coming to my end. And from that moment, had to apologize to everybody, make it right with you, apologize to my boys, even though they were quite small, toddlers, I would say. And then my dad, of course. And then that's the first time that after that argument, that was the first time I could say the word molestation. So my dad and I apologized to the family. I met with my dad at the church. Then I said, Dad, it was just like that. It took that moment for me to be honest. And I said, Dad, I think there's something just off in me. And I said, I was molested. And I had talked to my dad about that before, but I never said the word molested. I would say I was messed with, or I would never go there. So I was
use that word.
I never used that word. I was resisting the truth. And I think we do that. I think maybe today you've possibly been molested or faced whatever situation. It's easy for us to lie to ourselves or ignore it or don't even go there because it's too painful. And it took that moment for me to go there with myself. And then that conversation with my dad, he and I bonded. We were already close. We bonded again on that level. And then that was the beginning. I know you don't want me going into this too much, but then went to a counselor and really began my journey of being changed with the combination of the Holy Spirit, accountability, and counseling. My dad set me down for a few months, so I didn't preach. I was a leader, but I didn't really function in that way. He should have done that. That was the right call. But it took that moment for me to get honest with myself. And so that really helped shape, from that event, I got better, which then our marriage started getting better. I don't think our marriage was horrible, but our conflict was not good. We couldn't have conflict in a healthy way because I was not fighting fair. So our marriage began to get better because I got better. But then even deeper was I started to change in my preaching because I realized that I was serving God, but man, I was messed up. And that helped me be humble. That helped me get humbled. That helped me get into deeper touches of myself and with other people and preach in a way that was conversational. And I don't know if I did that totally before that, but more conversational and more in reality and facing deeper parts and let's get healed by Jesus. So it really helped my life get better, helped my marriage get better, helped I think being a pastor helped every aspect.
Well, let's go back a little bit. So first we need to just lay down. It's okay to be angry.
Yes, yeah, and the Bible says be angry and sin not.
Right.
And there are times we should be angry.
Right.
And if we don't have anger, then that would be to me passivity or other things or just like almost like I don't care. That's not right either. We need to care enough to get angry when it's appropriate.
Right. So what would you say would be maybe the fine line between it's okay to be angry, but this is what I was doing before I even realized that I had an issue. What would you say that fine line looks like?
Well, like I said, Ephesians 4, be angry and sin not. And then, Paul said, don't give a foothold to the devil through anger. So that tells us it's possible to be angry and not sin. It's hard to do. Still working on that at times. If I understood your question, I think that what I was doing to you and what I did to my dad is I was angry. What I later found out, I was angry about so many other things I hadn't even faced yet. The molestation, the chip on my shoulder from schooling, from sports. I mean, just on and on it goes. I hadn't even addressed the roots because I didn't even know what the roots were. So to me, I was angry, and I was taking that out on you. That's what happens a lot of times. The person that is dealing with anger takes their anger out on innocent people. And because we don't know where to take it, and many times we don't know what's happening on the inside of us, so we're just kind of spraying it on the people in front of us, usually the ones closest to us, and doing a lot of damage to our spouse, our kids, parents, etc. So to me, it's the balance, if I understood you right, is it's okay to be angry. At times we should be angry. And at other times we're angry and it's pointless. But when we are angry, the balance is I need to learn how to deal with that anger internally, talk it through, pray it through, etc., and not take it out on someone else. Even if that person is, maybe we're in an argument as a couple, even if that person is the target in that situation, I still should not take my anger as a weapon and use it as a weapon to someone else. That's totally wrong.
Sure.
And what I came to realize is anger is a secondary emotion to fear. And so really what I had to come to grips with is I was afraid. I had massive amounts of fear. And if you're dealing with anger today, that means you have massive amounts of fear. The question is, what are you afraid of? You have to get down to the roots. And it took me to have a counselor to do that because I didn't even, again, had any understanding of what that even was. But once I figured that out, then I began to have strategies of knowing myself, knowing my pressure points. Common word today is triggers. And then be able to navigate that and really get around it, walk through it, and start having tools to get better.
Yeah.
So So to me, when we are angry, a lot of times the deeper issue is fear. And I talked to you about that recently. Things in our world, things in just happening. I could feel fear. First, I felt anger, intense amount of anger. And you and I would talk about different scenarios. And I could feel myself getting worked up. And I was like, man, what? But then when I just gave myself time, man, I was afraid. I had big fear of different things in the future, or just different. And I was like, that's what this is. Okay, man, just chill out, man. Step back a little bit. That's what this is. And if you notice that social media and even the polarization of our country politically or other issues, they feed on fear. They make people afraid. Both parties, Democrat, Republican, in election seasons can use fear tactics to get people afraid, angry, and then vote, and then go at someone else, be angry at someone else. But really, that's not good, because we're invoking fear, which then invokes anger. And then if we're not healthy, we're not rational,
Right.
we're not good in anger, and then stupid stuff happens, whatever level that is.
Right.
So, man, it's been a journey.
People just start making emotional
Decisions.
all
Absolutely.
the
And I did that all the
with
time.
that.
I did that all the time with basketball. I did it all the time with, I can tell you, talking trash in the basketball court. I mean, getting in a fight, not in a fight, but me and this player got into it, and the fans yelling at me. But it was all anger. And when I look back on that, I could have performed better if I controlled my anger. And so, but it was foolishness. And thank God for his grace.
Yeah. I remember when we were dating, the first time I saw the anger was when we were dating. And it was over, again, at that time, he was like the college pastor. And so we were having a college event. And it was over that. I think, there were a lot
It didn't go good. It wasn't well attended.
Yeah, it wasn't well attended.
It didn't happen right.
And, I was there, and I remember, all the people that were on the team was there. We were doing our thing. And I think I left. I think that's what happened. Like, me and someone else left to do something, and then we came back. I can't remember. Oh, he was so mad. And I remember telling my mother, I was like, I'm done. Like, I cannot do this. And she just listened to me. And then later on, I remember, after I was done talking, she was like, Summer, he's afraid. Yep. And I couldn't understand that. I was just like, I was young, but I was just like, whatever, this dude is crazy, trying to go off on me because I left. But I realized, okay, oh, wow, you wanted souls so bad. You wanted people to get saved so bad. And it was like I wasn't fully in alignment in your eyes, or it was like I wasn't doing what you thought I should be doing, or whatever it may be. And I remember I went over some college friends' houses, us girls went over to a house. And I remember you were calling and you were texting me that night. And finally we got to be able to talk.
Yeah.
But what was cool was you were able to share your heart with me. And that's what melted me. And I was just like, okay, I get you. I understand.
Yeah.
But so earlier on our marriage, just so I remember that day vividly. My husband, I don't think you really remember, but I do, because AJ was he was like a newborn.
Okay. Yeah,
so
David would have been
he was like
15, 16.
Yeah, David was probably 1.5?
Yeah, 1.5 going on 2.
Yeah, and then AJ was new. And what was crazy about that day was we were leaving because you had to go preach somewhere. That's right. So your mom and dad kept David, and I had AJ because I was still nursing him. And so we went up, and it was just, it's crazy to think about. You have this huge argument.
Yep.
And then you have to rush up. You didn't preach that night, but you were preaching the next morning.
Yep.
And so, but anyway, what I was going to say was, even in that time, in the earlier years, that was probably, AJ was born in 2009. We got married in 2006. So that's 3 years being married. So even in that time frame, my husband says it wasn't a big deal. But for me, our arguments were huge because of just the heat of it, And so, but I don't think, but let's just talk about this real quick, because there's probably people out here, when you get angry and when you let it out, he's like, it's sunshine. It's like, what are we having for breakfast? What are we having for lunch? Like, it's just a whole new day. Like, so that's one cool thing about sharing and getting it out. But yeah, talk about that just a little bit. Cause I think your family, you guys can, I mean, even Grandma Norris, bless her heart, like she could easily do that. You know, you could just have an argument and then move on. And we're good. We're good. Hug each other. Like we're good, you know, and I'm over here like, ah. So talk about that just a little bit.
I think it's our personality as a family. I think, different personality studies, I think, bear that out. Our family definitely has strong leanings to the type A personality. So, I mean, once you get it out, there's, you're good. You
just think that is so interesting.
You get it out, man. You've solved it. and it's good to move forward.
And there's really like no remorse for you. Like you're not holding on to anything.
No, I mean, the only thing which I would do to you, I'd apologize. I mean, the problem with that is a lot of times you're reacting, you're not responding, you're emotional, you're not thinking. And so what happens is people in our family, I mean, for me, more direct, would say things that were mean. You just use your words to be mean, to cut in an argument, to win the argument, to get back at the person, to do all those things. And we, a lot of us are defensive or have tendencies like that. But once you do get that out, it's kind of like, you're done. But obviously, you got to apologize. You just created damage because you didn't think what you were doing.
Okay. So here's a question that I have is, what would you say, this is like more of an encouragement, but what would you say to someone who feels stuck in anger and can't see their part in it?
Well, I'd say you have to see your part in it. I think you have to own. I think the greatest lie we can ever tell is the lie we tell ourselves. So people lie to others a lot, but people lie to themselves a lot too. And the lying to others is second to the lying to ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I just think that's a big deal. We just got to admit our part in it and be honest that, man, hey, this isn't right. There's a better way than this. Mm-hmm. And then I think too, if you're stuck in it, we got to acknowledge, man, why am I stuck? And be honest with that. Like what's going on? Well, why am I upset? Why am I angry? Like start doing some deep dives. And people like make fun of this sometimes, psychobabble stuff. And even in the church, not everybody, but sometimes people can say, the Bible's all I need and I don't need counselors and it's a psychobabble. No, bro. You need to do investigation of yourself. Like do self-inventory. And if you want the Bible to be your thing, the Bible says the Spirit of God searcheth the inner depths of the heart in Proverbs. So you let the Spirit of God search your inner depths. Chances are you're not, because I know I wasn't. And I was giving God everything I had, but there was more. So we got to be honest. We just got to be honest, man. And I was a victim. There's no question I was a victim. I was younger. I was manipulated. I was a victim, but I did not live as a victim after I came to my end. So even if we are victims of some horrible thing, and that's real, I think we still have to be honest and say, man, what's my responsibility? And like we said, in recent podcast episodes is, hey, I need to forgive other people. But you know what else I need to do? I need to go say sorry to the people that I've hurt. It goes both ways. It's not just I'm forgiving you. No, maybe I did something too. And chances are we have, because we're all imperfect people. Right. And when we're dealing with anger, it's even higher probability that we've done something, said something that's hurt someone else. Sure. And we need to make it right.
Right. And I just want to clarify too, my husband has never cussed me out. He's never called me names. He's never put his hands on me or anything like that. It was just more so of the yelling and just him letting it out. And it's just like, ah. But I think from my perspective, and I've shared this on here before, I always say seen. I've always saw the aftermath of women and men, actually, in my family that have been abused and have been, well, physical, sexual, and emotionally. So because of that, and because I've been in homes where I could hear, one of my family members screaming, it triggered. So the yelling would trigger like PTSD, I guess you could say, me in that moment, and just like freaking out of my mind, but realizing, wait a minute, this is my husband. This is not so-and-so. I am not in this same situation. So that was something that I had to deal with too. So it was just like, it really wasn't a good situation at that time. So thank God that you got to that breaking point. Thank God that, your dad, really, I didn't even realize you guys, I knew you had a conversation, but how long did it take to have that conversation?
It wasn't long. It was like the next week.
Really?
Saturday we preached. Sunday it was like, it was that next week we talked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And there's something about a broken, David said in Psalm 51 that God desires a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. And to me, what he's saying is God desires a humility. Mm-hmm. When we're able to be broken and humble before God, we're able to receive from God. Mm-hmm. And that moment created that new level of brokenness to receive from God, be changed by God, really begin to receive healing, take active steps, and move forward in my faith. Mm-hmm. And I just want to encourage you today, before we go, that I hope this story encourages you. No doubt by the number of people watching and listening, someone's dealing with anger. A marriage has been impacted by anger, navigating an angry parent, who knows what. But there's hope, and Jesus can heal us and change us. I just want to encourage you today to be honest and to let the Lord go deep down inside. Don't think that everything is perfect, because obviously we know it's not. But it's letting God into those deeper places and realizing that we all come from stuff, and God wants to heal it, and He can. And if God did it for me, God can do it for you. And today, you and I going around the country doing marriage conferences, that wouldn't happen. That would not be happening if I did not let God touch me.
Right.
And I say it all the time at these conferences. I say, when I got better, our marriage got better. It wasn't when you got better, it was me. I think if we can all take personal responsibility at whatever level that is, every situation is different. There's different things going on, I understand. But at whatever level, to say, hey, I need to get better. When I got better in our marriage, then our marriage went to a new level. And I believe it can happen for you. So I hope this encouraged you today. I hope that it's given you hope today, because God has changed me, and God can change you. And me and you, babe, are more in love today than we've ever been. And we believe the best is yet to come. So please consider to like, subscribe, and share. We'd be honored if you did that. It's our heart to do our best every episode. And my wife wants to have part 2 of this, so that will be coming up soon. God bless you and love you all.